Easy.
But it's not.
That's my non bigotry filled issue. If we take all that stuff to the side, like boom, that's the big stuff, right? But the stuff that I want, I would love for a train to connect everything.
That'd be like my number one
First.
non-human being related.
Yeah, there we go.
My number one technological.
Well,
Not even. I would.
no.
I would love some other things.
I
I'd
would
love
like-
some
like
regulations
the-
on AI and
social media. I would love
social media.
Yeah.
My number one Well, no, I would like the planes to land and go on time and.
See, I'm not even sure.
lose doors.
I'm not even sure I care too much about them. All of
I
that.
care about that.
Yeah.
But just like a pie in the sky, I'd love a good train.
I
I've
think
conditioned people. Do you know how much people like rail, no pun intended, on the trains? They're like, the trains are so lame. I'm like, do you know what a train could do?
Who's doing that? That's stuff I
said
don't
someone
understand.
in our chat a couple weeks ago.
And that's just stuff I don't
Me
understand.
neither. Have you never been on a train?
Especially one that's going faster than like 35 miles per hour. The fact it takes 7-8 hours to get from here to New Orleans on train.
It's insane.
It's like, what are we doing?
It should take like 2 hours.
Max.
Yes.
Max.
It should take a half hour to get to Nashville. Max.
On train.
Yes.
I agree. What was the song?
The song was Good Charlotte, Girls and Boys.
Oh!
Girls don't like boys, girls like cars and money. Bum, 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 bum. Boys will laugh at girls when they're not funny.
Cause these boys like these girls, like these girls, like these boys. The girls with the bodies want boys and Ferraris.
Girls don't like boys, girls like cars and money. It's a great song. It's a great song.
Yeah, I'm not right.
Going nowhere.
I'm not writing that down.
It's going nowhere.
That's a keep.
Thanks.
That's forever keep.
Glad we agree.
And it's the perfect weather for that song also.
Yeah, it is good Charlotte
Gotta
weather.
roll the window down. It'd be nice if you could take the doors off the car and just have your foot hanging on the outside,
Yeah.
or drop the top back and just blast that song.
I wish I had a Jeep.
Sipping on like a
doorless
slushie?
Jeep
Yes,
with a slushie,
absolutely.
and going straight from
Yes.
the anthem
Yep.
to
Oh my
Lifestyles of the Rich and the
Oh my
Famous
goodness.
to Boys and Girls.
Stop it.
I could have the best day ever if I had that. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, June 10th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, everything you missed in sports last night. Oh, we are going full baseball show for you to start this one this morning. The College World Series is set. Murray State is headed to Omaha. John Morant is happy about that. Saw one of the greatest catches that you will ever see in Major League Baseball. Plus, Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Panthers absolutely dominated the Oilers in that one. Mike Wallace is going to join us, and we'll catch up with him about the Zach Edey injury, what that means for the Grizzlies, how it could potentially impact their off-season plans. We'll also talk about the NBA Finals thus far. We'll do some TV Tuesday. Warner Brothers and Discovery are consciously uncoupling, what that means for the future of sports on TNT, what we're watching, Love Island, the studio. CJ, what are you watching? Rehearsal. We'll get into all that. It's a Tuesday. You know what we say. Yippee-ki-yay.
What?
Yippee-ki-yay.
Mother effer?
Mother effer. Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Are you ready? Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizzline entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizzline is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Javon Evans might be the Ja Morant of the WWE. You asked me how do I say that? It's because Javon Evans is electrifying. He is viral. He does things you've never seen before. The most athletic guy you've never ever seen in the wrestling world. He reminds me of Ja in a wrestling ring. So Javon Evans, I'm proclaiming you on this day the Ja Morant of the WWE.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope your week is off to a great start. Mike Wallace is going to join us a little bit later on in the show. We'll catch up with him about the Zach Edey injury, the impact on the Grizzlies, the NBA Finals. But we have to open this show on the biggest story in sports. It's baseball time, CJ, and in honor of baseball, I have a game for you.
What?
I have money for you to earn.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
What?
I will give you $1,000 right now, $1,000 out of my own bank account that I certainly don't have in there, but will have when we get paid on the 15th. Take a look at this hat, because we're talking baseball, so I brought a baseball cap. If you can name this logo, I will give you $1,000. We might pay for it in increments. Increments of one. If you can name this logo, I will give you $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I'd like to see you try.
All right. You need me to do it right now? Do the rest of the show and I'll figure it out.
Oh, you're going to figure it out?
Give me some time to think.
Okay. I'll give you some time to think.
Okay, thank you.
We'll open on the biggest story in sports, and that is Murray State is going to the College World Series. The College World Series is set, and for the first time since they did Super Regionals, no team that made it to Omaha last year is returning this year. And the 8-team field and the opening matchups are Arizona versus Coastal Carolina, Louisville versus Oregon State, Murray State versus UCLA, and LSU versus Arkansas. And it is easy peasy, lemon squeezy for me to pick a team to cheer for going into the College World Series that I absolutely have been entirely invested in the entire tournament of this baseball and college baseball season. It's easy for me to pick a team because 1, I love an underdog. 2, I hate UCLA, and I see that opening round matchup. And 3, we are connected to the school's most famous alumni, Ja Morant of Murray State. And Ja has been tweeting up a storm during this Murray State run. And it is not a fluke, CJ, because Murray State is now into the College World Series for the first time. Give me the Racers. Give me the underdog. Give me just the 4th 4 seed in College World Series history to make it to Omaha. And last night's game, did you watch last night's game between Murray State and Duke?
I was busy with the hockey, which got pretty damn weird. Can you zoom back in on the hat for me?
Yeah, you want to go
quick?
back? You want to try again?
I'm trying to see. It's chicken. Is that a chicken on a jet ski?
It's not.
It's not a chicken on a jet
ski.
ski. It's not a surfboard.
It's not a surfboard.
Is that Biloxi?
It's not Biloxi.
It's not Biloxi?
It's not Biloxi.
All right, I'll give it another guess. But what happened in the College World Series?
Oh, you missed a classic. You missed quite the
Just
thriller
kick that shot,
in
Jacob.
Durham, because after Murray State won the Oxford Regional, last night they wrapped up the Durham Super Regional and beat Duke 5-4. And CJ, they had to celebrate their win twice. 2 times they took to the field to celebrate making it to the College World Series, because the first time there was an interference call that ended up getting overturned. So this is how it all went down. In case you missed it, which, like, what else were you doing last night? Murray State was up 5-4, bottom of the 9th, 1 out, and Duke hits into what would be called a double play due to runner interference from the runner sliding into second. The ump calls it interference, game over, cue the dog pile. They go to review it, and they ultimately decide that it was not runner interference. It looked like runner interference to me as a baseball expert, as a capital B baseball fan. I think it was absolutely runner interference, but alas, it's just the out at second. They put the runner back on first. Felt totally primed for a heartbreak moment from Murray State. I was like, oh, Duke is gonna walk this off, aren't they? The answer is no. Instead, cool, calm, collected, 2-2 count, ground ball to first. It is Murray State with the upset, and they are in to the College World Series. And I am realizing that I edited 2 minutes of Murray State Duke video this morning that I never pressed send on to Jacob. I was just wrapped up in the moment. Okay, it was incredible to go back. Yeah, you're really struggling with this one, aren't you? You're never.
So that's not Biloxi.
No, it's not Biloxi.
And it's not a surfing chicken.
No, it is not a surfing chicken.
But it is a rooster though, correct? What is the rooster riding? That's not the Waikiki boys, is it?
No.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna get this $1,000 down.
To be completely honest, I'm not sure what I think it is a rooster. Okay. It is a rooster, so you're on that. But it is not a surfboard. It is not a jet ski.
And it's not the Waikiki Beach Boys.
And it's not the Waikiki Beach Boys.
All right. Did you hit send on this video so we can see it all play out?
Oh, I mean, now it's probably going to be too late. Jacob's going to have to download it and go through the process. But
Good
anyway,
point.
It was an incredible ending for Murray State.
And from the sounds of it, I'm grateful that the umpires didn't cost Murray State a chance at the World Series.
They could have,
yeah.
And it would have been rigged for the big boys. And that, honestly, all jokes aside, it is entirely refreshing right now to have a sports story like Murray State, because we live in this world where cash rules everything around me. There you go. And, Jacob does have the video. If we want. Why not? Why not? Let's show the people what they missed last night in the Murray State Duke game. So this is the play that I was talking about, where they ultimately call runner interference and then do the take backsies moment. So Duke hits into what could be a double play. That's the runner. They don't get it at first, but the ump calls it runner interference, so it's 2 outs. That's the end of the game. And Murray State goes full celebration mode. Like, you get the dog pile. This is the moment. This is your first ever trip to the College World Series as a program. And then they just take it back from you because they go back to the review booth, and the replays determine that it wasn't runner interference. Doesn't it look like runner interference to you? I think it looks like textbook runner interference to me. Here he comes. Boom! But they end up taking it back. So they go. So it just sucks all the momentum out of such a fun moment, and they have to go back to it. And Murray State's not happy with how it plays out, and then ultimately hits into the grounder, out at first, game over. Murray State's able to celebrate appropriately. But it does feel so special in a time where money is everything in sports. Money is power in sports. And for you to see the little guy from the Missouri Valley Conference, I mean, Murray State didn't have stadium lights for their baseball stadium until 2014. Like, their coach, Dan Skarka, he takes responsibility. He mows the grass in their outfield. Murray State's head coach mows the grass in their outfield, and according to reports, he makes $68,000 a year. This is a guy who was a assistant coach at Walter State, a Knoxville JUCO, 7 years ago before Murray State hired him in 2018, and now 7 years later, he's taking his team to the World Series. This is the field that they play on in Murray, Kentucky. They finally added, quote, grandstands, seats for fans to come and watch them play, and this is a coach who makes $68,000 a year, according to reports, and you put that up against other coaches. The leading moneymaker in college baseball from a coaching standpoint is the University of Tennessee coach. He makes $3 million a year. $3 million a year compared to $68,000 a year. Like, these are the stories that I love in sports, and I certainly understand why we are moving towards a world where we aren't going to have as many of them and might not have any of them. So I am holding on tightly to every little guy underdog run that we get in the meantime.
I appreciate what you're saying. Mm-hmm. You tell me one coach is making $3 million and another coach is making $65,000. You tell me one coach is playing in a stadium with lights and seats, thousands of people, while the other one is playing in a stadium that is like 800 people stadium. I'm using that loosely. Did he delete it? Oh,
How on earth did somebody know that?
Edward. You should have deleted it. I told you to delete it. It's the Columbia River Roosters.
No.
Okay. What was I saying? But I hear, holy hell, there's a big discrepancy. Holy hell, these things are not the same. They should not be competing at the same level. They shouldn't. We can do underdogs with the big boys because there's always going to be an underdog story, like college football this year. And maybe we don't need to do it in everywhere, but in college football, we absolutely need to. Underdog stories pop up. We had the CFP, the 12-team field. I'd argue Indiana was an underdog, right? Like you don't get to be Indiana football with the history that you have, get into a playoff situation and not be the underdog. Is Indiana from the Big Ten? Absolutely. Is the Big Ten one of the most powerful power conferences? Yes, it's either them or the SEC, right? But it's Indiana. And Indiana's not great at football. For them to get there makes them an underdog. We will always find underdogs for these stories. It doesn't have to be the gap that is $3 million for a coach versus $65,000 for a coach. And it is the Columbia
no, you're actually wrong. I mean, yes, technically that is the
Columbia River Coffee
No, that's
Roasters.
Not the team. That's
Columbia River Coffee Roasters.
It's the Roosters, and it's an alternative identity. It's like if I asked you a Redbirds logo and you said, "Oh, that's the Memphis Barbecue Nachos." That's not a real team. That's their alternative identity for a period of time.
Fine, just the Columbia Dust Devils.
It's the Tri-City Dust Devils. You didn't get it right. You don't get the $1,000. It is the Tri-Cities Dust Devils. You are wrong. Now I will give you a chance. I will give you a chance to make up your money here. I'll give you a chance. I'm not going to do the full $1,000, but I will offer you $5.
Now you're
I'll offer you $5 if you can tell me the most famous alumni of the Tri-Cities Dust Devils.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
The most famous alumni ever of the Tri-Cities Dust Devils.
I'm thinking about it.
The Tri-City Dust Devils currently, they are the single A affiliate, Class A short season for the Los Angeles Angels. When I lived in the Tri-Cities, they were the Class A affiliate for the San Diego Padres. They, I think, originally were the Colorado Rockies. So it's gone Rockies, Padres, Angels. But it is the Tri-City Dust Devils. This is their alternative identity and their hats. But can you tell me what... I just keep asking you questions that you don't know the answer to. Do you now know what this thing is? What the rooster is riding?
Is it?
It is a hydro, which is a boat, but it's a racing boat. So in the Tri-Cities that lands on the Columbia River every year, there's something called the hydro races. And they are these big boat races that come through. And they're one of the most popular events in the city. And like everybody comes through and tailgates and watches the boat races. And people come from all over the Pacific Northwest. And so this is a hydro. And I was a hydro reporter for 1 year and 1 year only, which was a thrilling time in my life. I never got to go on a boat as it went fast, which was
What year were you there?
I was there 2014 through 2016 before I moved to Memphis.
So like 3 years after Russell Wilson.
There
Boom,
you go.
baby!
Look at that.
Yeah!
$5 is yours. Russell Wilson, former Tri-City Dust Devil,
There
in
we
his
go.
small time
When he was
pursuing
trying to
a professional
he was
baseball
trying
career,
to leverage
aka
more money.
leveraging his contract in the National Football League. Isn't this a cool logo, though?
I like it.
I know, I like it too. When
I
I
like
first
the
got
colors
it,
also.
I actually
We don't
was
see red
confused
and
as
blue.
well. No, and that's not their normal color. Their normal colors are like navy.
Yeah, we see a lot of
tan.
that.
So it's so typical. But
Yeah.
this is like a very bold. I like the pale blue, the bright red. The rooster is a fun little piece of it as well. So shout out to the Tri-Cities and the Tri-City Dust Devils and Giesa Stadium and Russell Wilson and knowing really obscure baseball teams on this very obscure baseball show, because that's what we are all about. I will go back and argue with you because I love to argue with you when you're not stealing $5 from me for knowing that Russell Wilson is a former Tri-City Dust Devil. There is a difference between Indiana, the underdog, and Murray State, the underdog. There just is. And that's okay, but they are not the same. And we will get accustomed to cheering for the more surprising stories in sports, but just because they are more surprising, just because an Indiana versus an Ohio State or a Michigan in the Big Ten is always going to feel underdoggy within that conference, it is so far and away a different experience than a Murray State making it to the College World Series, than a Loyola Chicago making it to the Final Four, than a George Mason making it to the Final Four, than a Boise State beating an Oklahoma in a Fiesta Bowl all those years back before we moved into the current college football playoff. Like it is, it's just different. Like a Cinderella, it is hard to attach Cinderella to a program that is also making boatloads of money in this scenario.
How many Cinderellas have to fall flat on their face, running from the ball, tripping down the stairs, turning back into pumpkins, and wearing peasant garbs before we decide, okay, that's enough? That's enough. Because more often than
But that's
not,
what makes it, it's the
but more-
uniqueness of it. We hate,
so we
not
need to
hate,
keep it,
but
we need to keep it around. We need to allow these teams and these programs that are severely outmatched financially, resource-wise, and honestly quality of athlete-wise, we need to continue to allow them to compete with those who have, because we get one of these stories every decade. Like that just doesn't seem like it's worth it to me. In football, it's not worth it in football. If we want to talk about the other sports, I'm here to listen, but it's not worth it in football. That gap, that chasm is way too large, and it's only going to continue to grow. And those types of things are going to become less and less likely until they're non-existent.
yeah. I hope Murray State makes a run at it this time around.
How about the SEC?
They're also legit. Yeah, LSU's the favorite. But
LSU,
Arkansas is seen
LSU
as
and
the more
Arkansas.
complete team.
LSU and Arkansas are both sitting there like plus 250, plus 300, and then the next closest to them is like plus 600.
Yeah.
I think it's Oregon State or somebody plus 600. So they're whoever wins that series, and they're facing off immediately.
Yes.
So whoever wins that is the odds-on favorite to win the College World Series, which could save face for a conference that placed the highest number of teams into the field with 13, and then first weekend, Vanderbilt down, Texas down. 9 of the 13 teams in the SEC
familiar.
fall in the first weekend,
That sounds
leaving only 4 to remain. And so, like, the SEC was clapping and stomping about baseball. We run that too. And you look up, and like, it's not a whole lot of them in the Omaha 8. Sounds similar?
Sounds a little similar to a basketball tournament that we had earlier this year. But you want to know what ended that basketball tournament?
What?
An SEC team winning it all.
Well, hey.
So if you win it all.
But, wait. It's that doesn't sound the same to me, because didn't they have a whole bunch of teams in the Elite 8 and in the Final Four?
But they lost a good number in the first and second round, too.
They didn't lose everybody.
They lost about half, didn't they?
Did they?
I have to go back
I thought
and look.
half of the Elite 8 was SEC.
It was.
Yeah.
That's 4 of 8. But if you had record number of teams entering the tournament, you should have had 8 of 8.
Should have had 8 of 8.
Should have had 8 of 8.
What type of standard are you setting
An
for these people?
incredible one. I hope they win. I hope that their fans come and win the Jell-O shot race that always goes down in Omaha. And even though, as I mentioned, it's the first time that we've ever had no returners from the year before, like you just alluded to, it is littered with baseball programs that have had a lot of success in the College World Series, from Arizona to Louisville, Oregon State, the 2 SEC teams in LSU and Arkansas, UCLA, and even Coastal Carolina, who don't get got. Like, they are not the underdog. They have won 23 straight games.
Beat Auburn at Auburn.
Beat Auburn at Auburn, and they won it all in 2016.
Twice.
So it hasn't been that long. And that's where it is a difference between what Coastal Carolina did in 2016 and ultimately what Murray State is doing this year, because Coastal Carolina had a good number of appearances in the NCAA tournament prior to their run to winning it all, whereas Murray State, only a few, and it has been a long time, and they have never made it to the College World Series. So that's the underdog I'm rooting for. We are all Ja Morant's Murray State racers going into College World Series week in Omaha, Nebraska. We'll take a break. We'll come back, get into some of the Stanley Cup finals, NBA finals, some NBA news and notes. Did you see the Demarcus Cousins story?
What happened?
Oh, I will show you. We'll get into it when we come back.
What should the Grizzlies take away from this Western Conference Finals matchup?
The Grizzlies need more quality depth. Not just depth, quality depth.
Well, what the Memphis Grizzlies can learn and take away from the Western Conference Finals is you can't talk about it, you got to be about it.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today. The Grizzlies, grannies, and grandpas have the right moves and are currently looking for new members to join their team for the upcoming season. These soulful seniors are a fan favorite group throughout Grizz Nation. You do not have to be a grandparent, but you must be at least 50 years old with personality, rhythm, and passion for performing. If that sounds like you, then we want to see you on Sunday, June 29th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting. Let's go.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
CP the franchise. Do we hate the Pacers?
Of course. I hate Halliburton. I hate Reggie. I hate the Pacers. I hope.
Yeah, where does Halliburton rank?
Where
does he rank?
Yeah, is there potential for him to be more hated than Reggie by the end of this series?
If you start flipping it all off, for sure.
Yes. Well, first of all, they're built the same. They damn near look the same. You know what I mean? He's like reincarnated Reggie Miller.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Jalen Wells is in studio right now. You took on tough, if not the toughest defensive assignment. When did you realize that would be your role?
And that's what I was working towards since training camp. I was trying to guard Dez. I was trying to guard Ja whenever I could, even if they're blowing by me, overpowering me. I really didn't care, because I was a rookie. So it's like, that's what's going to happen to a rookie.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Welcome back. CJ, you watched the hockey last night. We watched a little bit of the hockey as well. That escalated quickly.
Immediately. Holy hell, stuff was happening. Like, I don't understand everything that goes into hockey. I don't. Truthfully, honestly. but I know when people don't like one another, and I know when stuff is going on. So the Panthers beat the hell out of the Oilers. 6-1. That happens when these two teams plays. I do believe the Oilers last year, game 4 or 5, beat the hell out of the Panthers, flipped it around 8-1. I think, and in that game, the Panthers got really, really chippy. And the Oilers didn't like that. And so they're coming in with that sort of bad blood. And then just stuff starts happening. Like, dude just decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to just take this dude's glove and throw it into the stands. I guess I have no clue what set this off. I'm watching this, like, they're showing the replay. I'm like, holy hell, did he just take his glove? And did he just throw it into the stands? That's crazy. To which my man responded by, on the line change, just grabbing a bottle of water and spraying it on the Florida Panthers bench. Like, holy hell, this is some incredible hockey right here. And it all culminates. Like, look at this. He's just spraying water at him. He's just standing there. That's the sideline reporter.
That's the rinkside reporter.
That's the rinkside reporter. And he's just throwing water on him. Look at him take the glove and throw it. Just here you go. That's my glove now. Are you kidding me?
It was Chippy from the very beginning.
And then the way it ends, like, yes, down 5-1, third period, and it's an all-out fight. Count the players, and then you find the one not fighting. They're all fist fighting out there because they are sick and tired of one another's shit. So somebody ends up getting cross-checked in the back. The stick breaks on the cross-check. And now, F it, we got to throw hands about this. This was the fourth most penalized from a minute standpoint, fourth most penalty minutes in Stanley Cup history. They tossed 3 players. They tossed 3 from the Panthers. I think they tossed all 5 from the Oilers in this moment. This is incredible. I wanted to watch in this box right here so I could bang on the glass. Great stuff was happening.
You are basically in a penalty box.
It was great stuff was at stuff. I don't know what the hell the face-offs are. I know when stuff is going on, and that had stuff happening constantly.
I was mad to miss the end because we watched the first, period and a half. We didn't make it all the way through 2. Once.
What was it? So
it was
3?
4. No,
4?
After the 4th goal, I was like,
you're out.
All right, they're not coming back. Even when they went down 2-0, it felt as if it was already over. And the Oilers had 4 penalties in the first period. And I do love, and I noticed this in the first game, but they have that Happy Place penalty box, which is the cross promo with Netflix for Happy Gilmore 2. And it is so funny to watch somebody get sent to the Happy Place penalty box, especially in a game like that where they so clearly all despise each other and there is no such thing as a happy place when they are being penalized in that game. But we tapped out. I was like, this is not going to go well for the Oilers at this part. It did not. So missed the most fun part of the evening with them all going off. But ultimately the Panthers leave with a 2-1 edge going into game 4. But I love a brawl. If we could not get overtime or 2 overtimes, because that's what we've gotten in the first 2 games, a full-on brawl, you now have the playoff hockey trifecta of why we play the game, why we go for the cup, why those of us tap into hockey at a certain time of year each and every year, because it is always delivering some sort of insanity and madness like that. You want to know who could play hockey?
Who?
Demarcus Cousins.
Turn up.
Did you see? No. And you didn't, because I already asked you. Demarcus Cousins got into it with fans while playing in Puerto Rico. I got to admit, I forgot Demarcus Cousins was playing in Puerto Rico. He plays for the Mets de Guaynabo in the Baloncesto Superior Nacional League. And things took a turn on Monday during a road game. God, I should not be pronouncing anything because I am absolutely abysmal at pronunciations. But anyway, Demarcus Cousins got in a fight with a fan at the game. This is what happened. This fan is sitting courtside, and ultimately, Demarcus Cousins starts going back and forth with him. And then that happens.
Y'all let him know sometime.
And then that happens. This is Demarcus Cousins grabbing the arm of a fan in Puerto Rico. One of his fans or teammates is like, yo, settle down. It's not that serious.
Good.
Apparently it is that serious.
You don't know what that man said. Like, there are things that you can say.
He got ejected after this moment.
As well he should.
And fans threw drinks at him.
Well,
but this is a different league, you know?
That's probably why he went into he went at the fan.
He was not messing around.
No.
He was coming for it.
I don't know what's going on with the grabbing of yourself.
It was a lot.
If you are a dude in a hostile situation, I don't understand that portion of it. Well, sometimes people being disrespectful. You got to say, hey, that's enough. You draw that line. I don't know. If you are getting disrespected, do you grab yourself like as a lady?
Yeah.
Are you grabbing your groin area? Are you up here with it? Like what's
I
going
grab the
on?
ovaries.
Just get you some of this.
Yeah. I think I'm going to start just grabbing that. And be like, yeah. It doesn't quite hit the same. But that's because we wouldn't do that. Us ladies are built different.
I don't want to speak, get ahead of myself here, but I feel like there may come a moment in the W where somebody's like, okay, I've had enough.
Oh, we grab ponytails.
And
that's what we do.
We're going to be in the stands, and I'm going to assert myself by letting you know I'm a real one. Grab the over.
My Valkyries won another game last night.
Jessica,
in the words of Chris Luther, why do they keep winning?
Because they're good. What do you mean?
They have the good pieces.
Why do you want them to
they
tank?
Beat the Sparks in overtime.
Come on, man. That's good.
Tanking is how you win long term. You got to build a team.
You don't have to tank to build a team.
An expansion team?
You don't have to do that.
Well, to be fair, they have so much money behind them. They've had like $55 million in sales. The Joe Lacob experience continues to benefit. I saw somebody say, we're putting all the responsibility on Caitlin Clark, but don't forget about that money backing the Golden State Valkyries. I chose the rich team to support in the WNBA. 4 home games, 4 sellouts. Throw your V's up. That's what we do in Valhalla. We throw our V's up. We don't have to grab anything. We just throw up the V's. I did miss one of the greatest catches that we've ever seen happen last night in Major League Baseball. Was I watching the game? Absolutely not. Did I see the highlight all over my timeline? Absolutely yes. This was courtesy of the great Denzel Clark, rookie center fielder for the Oakland Athletics. Check out this grab. Woo! Climbs the wall, Spider-Man style. That's one of the best catches that I have ever seen. Like, not to be hyperbolic, because we do this sometimes, but that is truly one of the greatest catches in baseball history. Not being a prisoner of the moment. It's one of those where you watch it over and over again, and it just gets more and more impressive every time you see it. And I guess Denzel Clark, before every game of a road series, will go into the outfield and works on his timing between the warning track and the wall, so he knows exactly like how many steps it would take for a chase down catch like that. But that was incredible. And he calls the first time he plays in a visiting stadium. His first play is him breaking the ice. And so that's how he broke the ice there. That's an awesome catch. That's like, I hate always having to make the equivalent somewhere else, but it reminded me of seeing the OBJ catch for the first time and being, oh, that's a special catch that I'm never going to forget.
I wish we could have seen the runner, because he just stops and stares blankly.
Yes.
Like, it's so many emotions going through his head at the time. He's just like, oh my gosh. How can he catch that? That's incredible. Look at the picture. Look at my man. It's
like, are you effing kidding me? It's also in the bottom of the first. Like, that's how the game essentially starts.
Yeah.
Just call the game at that point. Like, well, that's the best thing you're going to see tonight. He had another great diving catch in the middle of the game, too. He's cool.
Is he American?
He's got swag.
Let me tell you, CJ. The name sounds American.
It sounds American.
The color looks American.
Oh, God dang it.
He's not American?
He's Canadian.
Turn up Canada.
Canada is taking over.
Let's go.
Our greatest sports leagues. Our friends up north.
Yeah. Well, they're not
my
our friends anymore.
I got sent Canadian chocolate last week. You got sent a Canadian T-shirt last week.
Well,
we have friends up north.
They don't know me.
They think they know you.
Do they?
I think you could come with me in time.
To Canada?
Yeah.
Will I be able to get back?
No. If we go, no, that's the thing. If we go, we're going there for good. He is from Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
He was drafted by the Mets in the 2018 MLB draft, but did not sign and played college baseball at California State University, Northridge. Okay. And after 3 years at Northridge, he was drafted by the A's in the 4th round of the 2021 draft. And that is Denzel Clark. I love a baseball player who has, as the kids say, aura. He's got aura. That catch, those are the kind of catches and like moments that make baseball cool. That makes me, ultimate baseball fan, not just want to watch the College World Series, but also go with the. Also, when are we changing the name?
What name?
The Oakland A's.
Where are they right now?
I just realized that. They're just the Athletics. We just call them the A's.
Yeah, they got to get the stadium built in Vegas. And last I heard,
it was taking some sweet time.
There were a bunch of hiccups to it.
The last I heard, the hiccups of that stadium from an NBA perspective could impact. Obviously, this expansion talk keeps getting, like, it's the perennial can getting kicked down the road. But I think a part of it, because the assumption is, okay, when the NBA eventually expands, it'll be Las Vegas and Seattle. That's the thing you hear over and over and over again. But perhaps there is some trepidation from the Las Vegas side because they're trying to get the stadium built for the Athletics. They have brought in hockey. They have brought in the WNBA. They have brought in the NFL. And it's easier said than done. I had never thought of it from this side. It's like, yeah, of course you should just add the NBA to another major sport franchise coming to Las Vegas. But it's really difficult to get the taxpayer money to pay for those stadiums, because if you did have an NBA team in Las Vegas, they would need a new stadium too. They're not going to play where the Aces play.
Yeah. Listen, maybe you find somebody who sees the investment potential in dropping one of these professional sports leagues in Vegas, because I'm telling you, those teams seem to be doing pretty well from themselves financially. And you say, all right, you got to foot the bill, which, you got billions of dollars. You can, what's a couple $100 million?
What's a couple?
Like, you got it. Go ahead. If you want it, go build it.
All right, we got to take a quick break. Mike Wallace is going to join us on the other side. We will catch up with him about all things Zach Edey and his ankle and surgery and what it means for the Grizzlies and their offseason plans, plus a look ahead at Game 3 of the NBA Finals as the series shifts to Indiana tomorrow. We'll catch up with Mike after a quick break.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting. Let's go! Let's go!
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Javon Evans might be the John Morant of the WWE. You asked me how do I say that? It's because Javon Evans is electrifying. He is viral. He does things you've never seen before. The most athletic guy you've never ever seen in the wrestling world. He reminds me of John in a wrestling ring. So Javon Evans, I'm proclaiming you on this day the John Morant of the WWE.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Last week, I gave you the update about my son Kevin in terms of having to choose.
Has he made the decision?
He picked Tennessee State.
Oh, my heart, Mike.
The next day, we got an email from the director of Tuskegee's program laying out everything that they were going to be doing. And he flip-flopped.
There we go.
He flip-flopped. So he's going to be going down to Tuskegee.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
We are back on a Tuesday. And we got Mike Wallace in studio.
Yes.
Hi,
yes.
Mike.
How you doing?
Welcome to
How
the
you doing?
studio.
How you doing? I was just passing through the neighborhood, and I realized.
As it happens.
I work here even during the off season. So, it's all good. Every once in a while, I want to pop in here and surprise you guys and be among the people.
Well, I'm so happy we get to have this conversation in person because why? Why?
Uh-oh. Which one?
Why? Why did Zach Edey?
Oh.
I'm not putting this on. That was the wrong person to inflect the why on. Why did I have to see a tweet from Grizzlies PR in my sweet off season while I'm enjoying a wonderful NBA Finals, starting to get prepared for the NBA draft, which is just weeks away, and it's not like the Grizzlies have a first-round draft pick, but they have 2 second-round draft picks, and just starting to flirt with what the off season really could look like as transaction season gets started in the NBA, which is always one of the most thrilling times of year. And instead, I'm met with Zach Edey has sprained his ankle, and not only has he sprained his ankle, it's a case where they are going to do surgery on said ankle, and he will potentially miss the beginning of next season for the Memphis Grizzlies. Where were you when you found out this information?
Probably shocked somewhere. You know what I mean? It's not the kind of alert you want to get at that time. It seems like we can't go through an off season without something, right? Last year, this same time or a little bit earlier, we were getting the word that, Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams Jr. in an off-season workout. The year before that, it was something else. And the year before that, it was Jaren Jackson Jr. in the foot. And it seems like, for whatever reason, man, this is a cycle that's unfortunately continues, right? These players are not going to, you applaud them for wanting to be in the gym. You applaud them for wanting to push through workouts and off-season regiments and all of those kind of things. And these are just freaky type things. But with this one, with Zach Edey, it seems like this was something that has been lingering and something that they wanted to take care of. If you remember a couple years ago, Ja Morant's shoulder issue was lingering. It was always popping in and out, and eventually it gave, and they had to have surgery. You never want to hear 7'4" surgery in the same sentence or whatever, but this is where we are. And, you attack it now, you give him a chance to go through the summer and rehab, and then hopefully he can be, and even when he comes back, they say he's going to miss the beginning of the season possibly, but even when he comes back, you don't want to front load him with too much because of where he is in his development, and you just want to protect the big man when it comes to lower extremity injuries. It's unfortunate, it's frustrating, it's par for the course it seems like around here, but at the end of the day, man, both Jaren and Marc Gasol went through foot and lower leg injuries earlier in their career, and they bounced back from them. Hopefully Zach can do the same thing.
So how does it impact the now and how the Grizzlies ultimately approach the offseason? From your perspective, does it necessitate that there's a different approach prior to Zach Edey's injury, or at least a conversation about a different approach, I would assume?
Oh, you definitely have to have insurance now. You have to have insurance now, because when you look at the Grizzlies' big rotation, this just adds another big-time question mark in terms of where you are. Everyone knows, the Jaren Jackson thing is just about contract. It's contractually whether he's going to commit now, commit later, how long he's going to commit, so he's going to be here in uniform for the most part. But beyond that, you have so many questions, man. I mean, how much do you really want to burden, Brandon Clark? This is a guy, lost for the season last year because of injuries. He's had some injury issues with his legs and his knees and all of that stuff, Achilles. And he's pushing, to late 20s, going into his, he's pushing late 20s at this point. Beyond that, who else do you have there? Santi Aldama is a free agent, essentially. You go from there, and it gets real thin. Now you're talking, guys that you Jay Huff and that type of situation. So you're going to have to figure out how to use either a mid-level exception that you qualify for, depending on what happens with Jaren, or some kind of trade, or some kind of a lower-end veteran minimum free agent. To me, if I'm Marvin Bagley III, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna raise my hand. I wanted to be here. This is a chance for me to re-sign at a lower cheap deal, and let's see where we go from here. If they want to maintain continuity and bring back Marvin Bagley III, I'm not saying he's the answer, but he at least gives you another body that you can go into.
And at least gave you something positive to hold on to late in the season.
A guy that played well, showed you some things, and you're going to have to get better than that, though, or at least a little more productive than that. But he's a back end of the break glass in case of emergency, and right now we're in an emergency situation up front.
Are there any guys out there that you see as potential targets who would be a good fit if they do try to explore the market?
I mean, there are a lot of. This is the summer where you have a lot of late career bigs, right, that are just out there. You know, Andre Drummond was always a guy that's a monster rebounder. He doesn't have much lift anymore. Yeah. But when he was with Chicago, you know, he always rebounded really, really well against the Grizzlies at this stage of his career. You know, he's another, you know, these aren't guys that you're going to just blow up your roster for. These are guys that if they're available, you bring them in, can they help you up front and give you some beef? I mean, he's a guy, you know, Kevon Looney's always been one of those guys, but he seems like he'll take less and less to stay in Golden State all the time. Clint Capella is a guy that's a free agent coming up. You know what I mean? He's a rim running big. He can block shots, catch lobs, set screens. He knows how to do that. So you do have different kind of guys that are around there that can, you know, that can, you know, come to the forefront. I've always liked Daniel Tice too. And now, again, Daniel Tice was the guy that dislodged Ja's shoulder, you know, against New Orleans. But he's always a rugged, tough guy that comes off the bench and gives you a hard screener, so he knows how to play in the screen and roll game. He knows the international game, which is what, you know, Tuomas Isalo is coaching. And he's a contributor. So those are all kind of the marginal back end of the rotation kind of guys that you might want to consider.
I've seen a lot of people be like, what about Steven Adams? And I just don't see a universe where, one, yes, he's a free agent, but I think he was incredibly valuable to Houston this year, and they saw something in that. And so there's a real world where he's back with the Rockets. And it just, you can't always be chasing something that worked at a time. I get it. But the hope in drafting Zach Edey was that you were getting a better long-term, higher ceiling Steven Adams. And from that, like the evolution from Jonas to Steven to Zach Edey. And you can't just, I like what you said about not necessarily going all in, blowing everything up for a short-term answer when your long-term answer is expected to come out of this ankle surgery sturdier and more durable than he was going into it.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
But you can never bank. I mean, we talk in hopes and dreams constantly in the sport, and it is hard because you obviously operate from a place of this is the expectation, but we've seen time and time again, you just never know.
You never know. The thing about that's encouraging about Zach is that historically, he's been durable. Like we went through his game. I think he's only missed 1 or 2 games for his entire career at Purdue. He took much more of a pounding in his career at Purdue than he's taken so far in the NBA. Now he's a physical guy, but the workload, what he had to do, how he had to carry that Purdue program, you know, he never really had any major injuries. And now, you know, the moment he gets to the NBA, 2 games in summer league, he has an injury, and then you know, so it's one of those things where, you know, it's unfortunate. His body's changing. What's expected of him is changing. And, you know, you hope that this isn't something that lingers. And there's no reason to believe that it's something that lingers if they're going to correct it right now.
It's always something. Like
but
I
wouldn't. But to go back to your question,
I would rather R7. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Steven Adams is. I don't know if you revisit that. I know that, you know, Steven is going to be an infectious personality no matter where he goes. But there were some things in terms of the injury and how they had to deal with his people and the Grizzlies people. And it was just, there seemed to be somewhat of a disconnect in terms of philosophy with how his injury and how he approached his injury. So I don't know if you want to bring that back in under this type of delicate situation with a brand new coach who's trying to learn the NBA as well.
I would rather have our 7'4" player be like Victor Wembanyama at 7'3", who's looking at being a monk. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Oh, Victor Wembanyama was spotted in China. And he has a freshly shaven head. And he was photographed sitting pensively in front of a small Buddha statue. And he was indeed, like, it's been confirmed. At first, people were like, that looks an awful lot like Victor Wembanyama. And he's pretty easy to spot because he's huge. But you could have assumed, well, maybe there's another really tall person exploring what it would be like to be a monk. Exactly. And no, it was Victor Wembanyama. So he is getting centered with his choice, unless he would like to leave the NBA and become a monk.
Nah, you would hope not. You would hope he doesn't do it right now.
I don't know. The rest of the Western Conference wouldn't mind.
That's and especially with the reports and the rumors out there now
about Kevin
coming there. That's a team right there. Like when you look around, just look around the Southwest Division. Like outside of New Orleans, everybody else is loading up big time, right? Everybody's in conversation. Houston is in the conversations for Giannis. Kevin possibly is going to San Antonio. Dallas has the #1 pick, even though they might be losing their coach. We'll see what happens.
And then there's the Pelicans.
Yeah, and then there's the Pelicans and the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah.
So this thing definitely won't be easier going into next season. So there's a lot to be sorted out over these next 2 months.
If Kevin Durant really does go to the San Antonio Spurs, and obviously we're in the big if period within the NBA, but just how I feel like we were having this conversation last year. Like, how quickly can they truly ascend into being one of the most competitive teams in the Western Conference?
Well, the trend has been going the opposite way. If you land Kevin Durant, you have a disappointing season, right?
Yeah.
This is 2 teams in a row or 3 teams in a row that has gone down, right? So, and his production at this stage of his career is still 25 points a game.
Yeah.
He's giving you a lot of well-rounded. In San Antonio, he'll make it work just because they always figure out ways to make it work. It'll be a dynamic thing. How much do they have to give up? What happens in that situation? I feel fairly certain that he's going to be moved somewhere, right? He's got to be moved somewhere because it just doesn't seem like that's going to be a fit anymore in Phoenix. And it's amazing how as many changes that they've made, they've had 3 different coaches over 3 years. They made all of these trades, and Matt Ishbia, the one thing that's going to doom him is picking up Bradley Beal with a no-trade clause. Like, that's one of those things where even as an owner, you almost got to say, you know what, I'm better off not having him around. I'm better off just saying, you know what, I made a mistake. I'm not going to roll him out here, and everyone in our fan base is going to know that this is the guy that's basically forcing us to do things we don't want to do. It was my mistake. I was overzealous, but let's just get rid of this thing. Almost kind of like what the Browns are facing with Deshaun Watson. Do you just eat that money and say, I made a huge mistake, it's going to tank my cap for a minute, but we got to get this off of our radar? That's a big-time question that they're going to have to ask.
A good lesson in greed.
Yeah.
And how going one
yeah.
step too far
It
can
is.
ultimately be the thing that hinders you and harbors you, especially in the new CBA in the world of second aprons and such. NBA Finals continue tomorrow. Series is tied after the incredible finish for the Pacers in Game 1. Oklahoma City counters back with what we have grown to expect with the Thunder, both from a dominant performance from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to others stepping up to really being able to lean on that depth, and not just from a Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren perspective, but in that game you get Caruso, you get Wiggins. And also we've seen this Thunder team bounce back from every loss they've taken in the postseason. That has been the sign of a team that learns from an experience, immediately grows from it, and wants to go out and make a statement. As it goes into Indiana, how are you feeling about the Pacers' chances of making this more of a series versus the Thunder getting past that really bad Game 1 loss where it slips through their fingers and you get another Tyrese Halliburton moment?
Yeah.
Is it a Thunder team that ultimately then goes and wins it in, say, 5?
No, I think this is a series.
Okay.
I really do believe now that I felt that I was hopeful that it was a series. CJ knows. I know on the Grizz Beat, our last episode, I picked it to go 7. Like I was optimistic that it was going to go 7, and it was because Indiana is a team that they should have earned the benefit of the doubt now, and they still haven't up until they won Game 1. And people say Oklahoma City, like you just said, the Game 1 slipped from their hands. But Indiana won it despite having 24 turnovers.
Yeah. They went out and got it.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like they didn't play a great game. They played a horrible game by their standards and still found a way to win. Another thing that was encouraging is that Game 2, I was always expecting Oklahoma City to put the gauntlet down and win it by 30. They could never just completely break away from those guys. So it was 123-107 or something like that. But that should have been a 25-point win, and it wasn't. Indiana just won't go away. And if they're going to win at least one of these 2 games at home, then it's a 3-game series. And that's exactly what I expect to happen. I expect them to split in Oklahoma City, split in Indiana, and then make it a 3-game series with, obviously, that Game 5 is going to be very, very pivotal. You know what I mean? So, and I would almost dare to say whoever wins tomorrow, to my feeling, is going to end up winning the series.
What does Indiana need to do most coming out of that game 2? What do you need to see from Indiana in order for them to be the team that wins game 3?
I need to see them get back to the physicality that they played within game 1. You know what I mean? It was some things in that game. Everybody saw the turnovers were hurtful. They saw that Oklahoma City couldn't score down the stretch and all of those kind of things. But two things that stuck out to me that I saw in that game, and they were small things, but I hadn't seen this happen to Oklahoma City. I saw Alex Caruso get knocked on his ass, like have to get up off the ground because he took a hard screen. Usually he's fighting through the screen. Usually he's grabbing and clutching and hurting other guys. So I saw Indiana win the physicality battle. I saw Nembhard not back down at all in that matchup with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I saw Indiana just become defiant in everything that they were doing, right? They kind of hung around. They kept fighting back. They never trailed by more than that 15. But the thing about it now is that you're going home. You can't get behind early. So they have to play from ahead. They have to play at their pace now. And that's one of the things that they're going to have to do. This is going to have to be one of those games where they're getting up into the 115s and 120s. If they can score, I like their chances of being able to extend this series. I'm not going to say they're going to win it. I just think stylistically these two teams are a lot closer in terms of bringing out the other teams or exposing the other team's weakness than a lot of teams we're used to seeing.
If there's one thing the Thunder have that the Pacers don't, it's the MVP, literally, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And coming off of game 2, which was one of, if not his best game of the postseason in totality. Obviously, he's had larger scoring outputs, but efficient 34 points, the 8 assists, being able to get others involved, and then defensively not having any real sort of drop-off when SGA is on the court. How has your appreciation of his game risen as we've made it into this place in the finals?
I've said it time and time again, and every time I see him, every time I hear him in a post game or at a podium or a walk-off, I mean, just his entire brand and his package, his games, his game, his attitude, his mindset, his leadership. I'm telling you, he's equal parts. He's got a little bit of Kobe in him. He's got a little bit of MJ in him. He's got a lot of Kawhi in him. You know what I mean? And he just has that ability and obviously he's Shai. He's his own player in a lot of different ways. He's got a lot of James Harden in him in terms of the way he sets you up and always gets you off balance so he can get to the free throw line. He's a sprinkle of a lot of different superstar players who have dominated at this stage, and he makes it look so easy. And he's just one of those players where when it's his turn and his time, he never lets his team down. And then he holds that same standard when he's giving statements about his team. That's the quintessential superstar. I mean, he is a guy that if we're not saying Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a top 5 player in this league next year or a player that you would want to build your team around moving forward, then something's wrong. I don't know what we're missing with it when it comes to that, globally, but he's arrived. And this is a guy he's not changing up anytime soon.
Last story that came out of the NBA yesterday, Darius Garland broke his toe and is expected to be out 4 to 5 months, which is a significant injury and big for the Cavs. When you look back at what the Cavs went through from an injury perspective, does that change your opinion on how we will be thinking about them at the beginning of next year? Obviously, underperformed in the playoffs. You lose to the Pacers. You're the 1 seed. You're a 60-plus win team in the regular season. There were high hopes that this would be their year in the Eastern Conference. But you look back at the Garland injury, among others that they faced throughout that postseason, and it's easy to use it as an excuse of sorts. Is that how you view it?
I do. And the thing about Cleveland is one of my best friends in the industry. We go back 25 years. BJ Evans is their vice president of media relations. So, I've had a lot of talks with him about, what's gone on there over the last few years and what's going on now. The thing about Cleveland is that it's almost like as much as they pushed this season to be special, they won 64 games, clearly was the best team in the East in the regular season. Nothing they do in the regular season next year is going to matter, right? Because now they're only judged by postseason. This is 2 postseasons in a row where they've had major frontline guys get knocked out because of injuries. And, last year, it was Jared Allen with the ribs, and he couldn't play in certain big games. And then this year, they kind of fell apart towards the end, with Garland. And that's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, maybe you don't push as hard during the regular season and try to just run away with the number 1 seed. You got to be able to stack yourself up to get through the playoffs. And a lot of teams in the East are going to be like that now, right? I think Philly is going to try to come out and make a run for it now and prove that last year they were just flukishly injured. So they have something to prove. I think the Knicks, Cleveland and Boston are all going to just be, okay, let's just manage the regular season and let's survive. So all 4 of those teams are still going to be bunched up right there. I gave you 4 teams, and I didn't even mention the team that's in the NBA Finals right now.
Right.
So that tells you how much parity there's going to be in the East and in the West for the most part.
It should be fun. But for now, I hope your belief comes true. I hope we get 7.
I mean,
give us 7 games.
After 2, it's tied up 1-1. So, hey.
That is how you get on track.
That's how you get on track to get to 7.
Series.
Right.
All right,
so,
Mike, thanks for joining us as always. We'll see you next
anytime.
Tuesday. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it's TV Tuesday. We'll talk about the separation that is happening with Warner Brothers Discovery. HBO Max will be by itself again. Discovery will be somewhere else. We'll get into it. It also has an interesting impact on sports on TNT in the near and dear future. Plus, we'll get into what we're watching, all the best shows on TV when we come back.
Are you ready? Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment, and they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up at Open Call Auditions Saturday, July 26th at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots. That
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're gonna get seated this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance.
But you get a lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Before we get into TV Tuesday, there is a very important chicken tender conversation going on in the chat today. And Tesh said he has a friend who swears by Marlowe's tenders. And this is crazy to me because I, until yesterday, had never heard of Marlowe's in Memphis. And I'm not saying I know every restaurant in Memphis, but I love finding good food in this city, and I've never heard of Marlowe's. And there was somebody in my TikTok on... I'm going all in on the Memphis TikTok space, by the way. CJ, JB Jams, we're seeing new heights from the Memphis audience. TikTok's getting like really hyper local. I feel, which is cool. I love that. I think that's an important thing for it to kind of situate itself in algorithm-wise. But I came up with like the 9 things every person who moves to Memphis should try to do within the first month of moving here to try to like baptize themselves within the city or get to know the city better. And was just talking about the great barbecue debate. And somebody popped in with Marlowe's. I was like, I've never heard of Marlowe's. And then there were multiple comments on the Marlowe's post about how that's their favorite restaurant ever. And I'd never heard of it before. And now someone's saying they have the best chicken tenders. And you know I love me some chicken tenders. Yeah. So how have I not been to Marlowe's? And you've never heard of it either.
No. Sounds like you got to go.
It's on Elvis Presley Boulevard.
Like, we are, I think this is, everybody in Memphis does this. And I think everybody everywhere does this. Your area is where you are. You're not leaving your area. You got like a 15-mile radius
or
around
you have
your home.
To actively,
and you're not leaving that area to go find things. And I think for you, if it's not downtown, maybe you venture to Midtown, but that's as far as you're willing to go. And for me,
I go out for good things.
But
I drove all the way into West Memphis for some burger joint.
You'll go
Shake Shack.
you'll go out for good things.
Yeah.
If you know the good thing is there.
Yes.
You're not just driving through Whitehaven.
Correct, but I'm surprised that I hadn't heard of Marlowe's
Well,
because it seems like people are preaching the sweet gospel.
You
of
hang out with
Marlowe's.
downtowners. Who's going to tell you about it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to explore more. That's what I was remembering, like through this activity and moving here, which was cool. Like I agree. At this point, I'm very sedentary in my downtown space because I am
everybody
lazy.
is. Everybody is.
But when I first moved here, because like I worked out in Bartlett, that's where Local 24 was, and I went to all the I learned Memphis through the high schools. That's how I figured out this city. And so I'd go to a high school and then be like, oh, you got to go try this restaurant. And then I'd go home to Chris and be like, I met so-and-so at Cordova High School football practice, and they said we have to try this because we're new to the city. And then I'd go to Olive Branch football practice and then be like, hey, have you been to this place? You got to go here. And then we'd drive out to Mississippi or anywhere that you were at. Like every time I went to Melrose Football Stadium, I got a new great restaurant recommendation. And then when I didn't have that anymore, I'm realizing I'm not taking in the advice of different pockets within the city as much as I used to. And I miss that.
You're not exposing.
Because I'm down here.
Nobody is exposing themselves to different pockets of a city. You find what works for you and you just sort of kick it there. It's more fun when
you go everywhere. So
Jessica,
Marlowe's I'm at.
You only have so much time. You only have so much money. You can't go everywhere.
I want to support every local business.
You can't. You don't make enough. You don't. So, but support them.
Dog sit some more.
Absolutely support them. You see, Melrose is going to have to forfeit.
I did see that, but I didn't know why.
I think an ineligible player was used. Football Melrose, for those who don't know, made it to state. I can't remember how far they got. A pretty special season for them. They got a transfer who came in, and I guess because of the transfer rules, he wasn't eligible to play for whatever reason. So yeah, they're gonna have to forfeit that season.
That
unfortunately.
stinks.
Yeah. Oh well.
Poor Melrose.
Poor Melrose.
What's your favorite chicken tenders?
I'm not.
I know you hate them. I took them in a chicken draft, and I've never lived to
hate
see
them.
the other day.
It's just like they're fine. I would guess there are Grizzly Mart in South Haven has good chicken tenders. Dodges has good tenders as well. I'm big into the gas station tenders. If I'm at a restaurant, I'm not ordering the chicken tenders. And so yeah.
Someone randomly recommended, these aren't chicken tenders, but the baked chicken in the back of the Kroger off Mendenhall. It was a very specific recommendation.
Off Mendenhall.
And now I feel like I have to go to the Kroger and seek out this chicken because it was such a specific recommendation.
The one by Paradiso?
I think so, behind Paradiso. That's the only one that I would assume.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to go find it.
The kosher Kroger.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is a chicken.
So you go to the deli and get these chickens?
I don't know. I need to ask questions because
Okay,
I'm going to walk into that. I'm going to walk into that Kroger and be like, excuse me.
Where the hell to get the? It's baked chicken.
That's what it said.
We got to figure out where the hell to get that at.
I appreciate the recommendations.
Yes.
It's the easiest way to get legitimate recs is talking to the people and then being like, hey, give your recommendations in the comments. And next thing you know, you have 100 people giving you their
baked chicken at the kosher
Yes.
Kroger. Okay.
Yeah. Unless there's another Kroger.
No, not off Mendenhall.
I don't think so.
No.
Anyway.
There's that one that sits next to the Home Depot over there, but that's not off Mendenhall. The one right behind Gibson's.
Yeah, that's a different.
Okay.
I would assume that's a different
All
one.
right.
There's so many Krogers.
So
Also, everybody be careful if you were in the Midtown Kroger. I've seen 4 accidents on Union outside the Midtown Kroger.
Because it's a terrible
worst
parking lot
in the city. 4 accidents in the last 10 days. Bad ones too. Yeah. So if you're turning out of there, pro tip, go around the other direction. You can go behind Kroger and then go out towards Peabody.
But everybody's
and then
already,
avoid Union.
The exit is already right there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable. Yeah. I hate that exit. All right, let's do some TV Tuesday.
That Kroger had mice also, if I recall correctly.
I love a little mice at my Kroger. Just trying to protect them. Big TV business news. Warner Brothers Discovery is splitting into 2 companies. One will be for its TV and movie studio along with HBO Max, previously known as Max. Previously known as HBO Max. Previously known as HBO. And now we're back at HBO Max. And then the other will be for its legacy cable channels, including CNN, TNT Sports, Discovery Plus, and other TV networks. These 2 only merged 2 years ago to create Max, which was this idea of putting everything in the same place and upping the price and hoping that people would pay for it. You would go to the same place for Game of Thrones and Succession as you would go for Property Brothers and Naked and Afraid. And what they have found is that is not a recipe for more subscribers. So they are now separating those 2 things. I was listening to my daily business podcast this morning, and they kind of compared it to if you took Bob Dylan and Bad Bunny, and separately they are both money-making entities, but one is rooted in an old revenue stream in Bob Dylan, and the other is new and has a much higher trajectory in Bad Bunny just because he's younger and has the global impact, and that is HBO Max, and the other channels are Bob Dylan, and both have value. One just has more value, and one has more hope towards the future, and it makes more sense to separate those 2 things out so that one can achieve its ultimate growth.
So then why did they combine them in the
Because they're
first
dumb.
place? They combined them when? 3-4 years
2.
ago? 2 years ago.
Literally 2.
So why combine them in the first place?
Here's the funniest part. McKinsey consulting firm. God, if I could go back in time.
And name yourself McKinsey?
I'd be a consultant.
Oh, okay.
Because they get paid so much money to do things like
it's
this.
not too late. You
You got to go to
consult.
business school. That's expensive.
Okay.
In 2002, McKinsey was paid $55 million to advise Warner Brothers to combine with Discovery. From 2022 to 2025, McKinsey charged Warner Brothers Discovery $37 million by advising the company to change HBO to HBO Max, and then to Max, and then back to HBO Max. And in 2025, McKinsey billed Warner Brothers Discovery an additional $63 million to determine that Warner Brothers and Discovery should be separate brands again. I'm telling you, we should be consultants.
Sounds like Warner Brothers could save a whole lot of money by just no longer paying McKinsey, whoever she is. Just stop paying McKinsey. McKinsey's giving you bad
I don't know
advice.
who you are, McKinsey.
You can't pay McKinsey
you can't
anymore.
steal my money anymore.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't really think about it from the perspective of TNT Sports because now we've gotten to this place where some of these sports pop up on HBO Max,
yeah.
and that's the streaming location for them. And TNT has the men's basketball tournament through 2032, Major League Baseball and NHL through 2028, College Football Playoff through 2028, which also now includes a semifinal game. That deal just went through like a week ago. NASCAR through 2031 and the French Open through 2034. But if you take those bigger brands of the basketball tournament, Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, College Football Playoff, that's only wrapped up for the next couple of years. And at this point, TNT doesn't have a streaming partner. Because they're in the short term, they're going to continue to show the games on Max, but they made it very clear that is a short-term solution. So they have to find somewhere or somebody who sees value in TNT Sports to ultimately hold their hand and bring them into streaming opportunities, or else they're going to lose them. And we might be looking at a universe, and obviously we just saw the end of the NBA on TNT and Inside the NBA and all that came with that. But we might be in a situation where TNT Sports is no more, like in a decade.
What's the point of that channel then? Right? Everybody is clamoring for. Well, McKinsey, where you at, dog? Explain to me what the point of the channel is if you don't have the live sports. Everybody is clamoring for live sports because live sports is the thing that drives the eyeballs. So if you had, and I thought the point of letting NBA go was so that they could get more variety in their live sports coverage, which you just laid out there with everything they've got on the docket now. So I thought they were going to make a big push for more of those things. What then is the point of the channel if you don't have the live sports? 1, 2, why can't TNT go over with HBO and them?
They weren't included.
That doesn't make...
They didn't see enough value in new subscribers who signed up in order to watch the sports on HBO Max.
Could TNT then be streamed on Netflix? Like I'm confused. So
yes, it could partner with Amazon. It could partner with
some of those
Paramount, or even you had.
But why would I, if I'm Netflix, Paramount, Amazon, want to partner with you when I'm looking at you like you're not going to be able to afford that?
Exactly.
I can just get that myself.
Right.
So
when it comes back up for negotiation.
What I'm hearing is, Mackenzie, you just need to put TNT over there with the HBO Max stuff, and you'll be good.
I just think it's an interesting, not just from the sports part, but the business strategy of putting everything back together. And we all made these jokes when it happened, and with other companies who have made similar business decisions where you're like, oh, so we're getting cable again. But people don't want cable at this point. People want a la carte. People want to be able to say, I watch this, I pay money for this, so I'm going to pay for this. I'm not going to pay more money just because it includes more options that I don't care about. Like, I don't want to watch the Food Network. I want to watch The Last of Us. I want to watch Hacks. I want to watch my favorite show on HBO. I don't care about the additional stuff that comes with it. Or even for those people, like, I don't care that I could watch the Stanley Cup finals on Max. If I want to watch that, I'll go to TNT. I'll go to the real channel. And I think for now, like, if you have cable, you'll just watch it on TNT. Anyway, it's a constantly changing landscape.
Changing in the dumbest possible way.
Constantly the dumbest possible way.
All the time. Like, it doesn't have to be this. We almost had it. We got close to having the streaming thing figured out.
Did we?
Yes. And then capitalism happened. And it's like, oh my gosh.
I hate when it comes up again.
Just Netflix and Hulu and cable. That's all we wanted. That is it. That is all. And we wanted to do cable a la carte.
Yes.
And then cable looked around and said, oh, we're going to give you a CBS platform we'll call Paramount, and we'll give you an HBO platform we'll call HBO Max, and we'll give you Peacock, and we'll give you all of these random damn apps. Showtime's got an app. Does Cinemax have an app? What about Skinemax? Everybody got a damn app that you have to pay $13, $14, $15, $20 for. Yeah. It's like, yo, that's not what we wanted. We wanted Netflix. We wanted Hulu. We wanted cable. That's it. We were so close. And then everybody looked up and said, no, they making way more money than us. Hulu and Netflix making all the money. We got to compete. Let's start taking our stuff away from them. And now you've created something that's too unwieldy for consumers to keep up with, follow, and want to spend money on. It's way too much money to spend money on all these damn apps.
Yes.
You want me to go Apple TV and Paramount and then have the YouTube TV
and Peacock
and give me that Peacock? Get out of here. I don't want that Peacock. Get that out of here. Come on, man. We were close. We messed up work from home, streaming. We messed up the Airbnbs, and we messed up the Lyft's, Ubers. We
messed up Airbnbs? I think Airbnb messed up Airbnb.
I'm saying we as a society.
Okay, we also messed up Skype if we're including. Well, Skype messed up.
Skype messed up itself. Skype didn't make anything worse. Skype wasn't coming in to make anything better, was it? Right? Like Airbnb.
I would say it came in to make video calls better.
Okay. All right.
And then ultimately failed when we needed them the most.
Did you have to pay for Skype?
No.
All right, you paid for the other ones.
Okay.
That's the difference. You're paying for the other ones. It made things cheaper and more affordable, and we messed it up by making it more expensive, which is just terrible. Awful.
You want to know what wasn't terrible or awful?
What?
The 2025 Tony Awards.
Was it any good?
It was. Okay. And I was talking to Bennett after the show yesterday, and he watched the Tony Awards despite not being a regular viewer of all things musicals, but he brought up a great point, and that is that the Tony Awards does a really good job of making you want to go to Broadway. It sells the shows that are winning the awards or up for the awards because there are constant performances littered throughout the broadcast. It stands by a pretty strict formula of performance, award, commercial, award, performance, commercial, and so on and so forth. And it's a little long. It's 3 hours. I don't need an award show to be 3 hours at this point, but it gets complicated because there are some purists who are already mad that it doesn't include the technical awards like best costume, best choreography, best sound. Like all those things get done in a prior ceremony that you can only stream on, not even on Paramount Plus. It was on some other random thing that I've never heard of. Speaking of streaming taking over everything. But
last year, wasn't it on Netflix?
No.
Okay.
Last year was on Paramount Plus, or 2 years ago. There was a period coming out of COVID where it was a concern of would the Tonys ever be on CBS again. And so they were exclusively streamed on Paramount. What was on Netflix? There was an award show on Netflix. We've moved into that space too. But bottom line is, I think it does a really good job of selling it in a way that like the Oscars don't. Like when I watch the Academy Awards, it feels like they are not as in tune with the movies that they are talking about all night, but I'm never seeing the movies. Like we get small clips, but I would love a better job of, yes.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would love for them to figure it out though. We've seen bits of it. Like when you get like the best actors, like I always love a montage. Like I love a montage. I love specific scenes from those movies, and sometimes they randomly take those out for whatever reason. Like that's the good stuff. And with the Tonys, I think you almost are oversaturated in a way, and you can't let one best new musical perform and not another, so you have to show all of them. And my hot take that is not a good theater person hot take is that sometimes the performances they show, I think actually detract people from wanting to go see that show because they just feel really kitschy, or like I would see a performance and say, that's why somebody hates musical theater, who doesn't like musical theater or refuses to be interested in going to see a musical. But ultimately, the Tonys were really good. The Hamilton performance and reunion was spectacular. The entire original cast, all of them, even Anthony Ramos, who allegedly, hypothetically, reportedly once cheated on his castmate Jasmine, and so there's been this like perceived rift amongst the Hamilton cast. Even he showed up. They didn't put him on screen very much, but he was there. But it made me like Hamilton again.
So you need more montages at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Okay, so just,
like why do I like
do
the Grammys? Because it's full of like I don't like the Grammys. I like performances.
Performances are happening.
Yeah.
It's stuff to do with the simple. Not simple, but acting for the Oscars. So I guess you could do like a drama montage, a comedy montage, blockbuster montage, best actors,
and even movies that aren't nominated.
Montage. Right, and that goes into the montage. Like you have the montage, and then you have the awards where you say, all right, here's this person's name.
Here's the best.
Here's a segment from their performance. I could see that. What if the Tony Awards, and this is just me with my 0% knowledge of what's going on, what if they, instead of having all of those performances, and I think there's a place for performances in live award shows, that's the thing people come to see, second place performs. So you're saying, I heard you, and you've said this before, you can't have one Best Actress nominee not perform and the other one performing. So what if you say, all right, this person here is performing, and I guess that would probably let everybody know who won, though.
Yeah, you can't do that.
If you did that.
I'd be like, surprise!
Yeah, all right, that's tricky.
But I saw Eric say in the chat the Hamilton reunion wasn't really creative, and I actually thought that at first too. Even Chris said, like, why aren't they in costumes? Because they were all dressed in black, but in typical Lin-Manuel Miranda, it's like completely layered throughout the Hamilton performance. They're all in black because it's supposed to represent the mourning of the democracy that was in existence when Hamilton was originally on Broadway back in 2014, and the deconstruction of the country, and like even things like having King George's character be the only one not in black. He wore red for a particular reason, and he interrupted a song right before they said the iconic line, "Immigrants would get the job done." And I saw a lot of people being like, why did they take that line out? It was intentional because it was like the king interrupted the "immigrants would get the job done" line. So there were a lot of choices, and they ended with "history has its eyes on you." So they made all those choices. But the Hamilton piece was good. Maybe Happy Ending was the biggest new musical winner of the night. I think it looks really boring, but people love it. Like unanimously. Anyone who goes and sees that show, anyone who I know has said that it's worth going to see, and I'm sure it will tour eventually, because that's the best part about winning new musical is you almost all but guarantee that you will get a national tour at some point. So someday maybe Happy Ending, which is about retired robots falling in love. Yeah, but they use technology in a cool way. It was good stuff. Yeah, that was the Tonys.
Big winners?
Nicole Scherzinger was the biggest winner of the night because she beat Audra McDonald.
Other big winner?
We had multiple winners from Glee. Darren Criss won
wait.
best.
Glee the musical?
No, I mean like Glee alumni.
Okay, here we go.
Glee alumni
All
won.
right.
Jonathan Groff won last year, and now Darren Criss won Best Actor this year.
Okay.
So that was exciting. People love to get into that kind of stuff. There's a play called Purpose that looks really interesting that I'm into. Like that's what the Tonys for me is for, is discovering something that maybe I had overlooked that sells itself well. Because it's really just a giant advertisement for Broadway. And this was the most profitable year in Broadway history.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, it helps when you have
Recession
Denzel
indicator?
on Broadway, George Clooney on Broadway, Audra McDonald back on
Were
Broadway.
either of them there?
George was there.
Clooney was? Okay.
Clooney's interesting right now.
What you mean?
I think he might be making a play for a political future.
Ah, turn up.
Mm-hmm. He did Good Night and Good Luck, which is the story of Edward R. Murrow fighting with McCarthy during McCarthyism, and ultimately
they showed that on CNN this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it.
Okay.
It's a good play, and it ends in a like very poignant way for the now. But George Clooney's been everywhere with it.
Oh.
I don't know. And his wife was with him. Amal.
Is she
Haven't
not
seen
supposed
her
to
in a
be with
while.
him?
Well, they moved to Lake Como. Like they were out of sight for as out of sight as celebrities can be, and with their 2 kids. But now he's back, so we'll see.
Okay. Anybody get close to that EGOT? Anybody get the EGOT?
Yes, thank you for reminding me, CJ. No, nobody got the EGOT, but we now have 3 Secession actors who, within the last 2 years since Secession ended, are now halfway to EGOT. Because Sarah Schnook won Best Actress in a Play for The Picture of Dorian Gray. Did you ever have to read The Picture of Dorian Gray back in school?
No, that wasn't one I was supposed to read.
We were supposed to read it, and I don't think I ever did. I think I cliff noted it.
At least,
if we're being honest.
I take that back. I think I was supposed to read it. I don't even think I cliff noted it. I think I talked to somebody at another school like, hey, give me the rundown on what this book is about. Yeah. I think that's how I did it. I'm not sure.
It's somebody whose portrait ages.
I'm aware of the story.
Anyway, she plays like 20 characters in the show.
Oh.
And it came over from the West End, where it was really successful. And here, the show didn't get as much buzz, but she got a lot of buzz for it. So now she, Jeremy Strong, and Kieran Culkin are all halfway to the EGOT.
So
which one would you think would make it first?
Kieran.
No, I think it's Jeremy Strong.
Okay.
Because I think he cares. The other 2 I don't think care. Okay. I think Jeremy Strong will chase the EGOT. He wants it.
That's not something that just
casually
happens.
get. I think it's cooler if it casually happens.
Who's the last casual EGOT winner? Would I be mistaken to say Whoopi Goldberg was kind of casual? Like I just looked up one day and she had it. Am I mistaken?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Who else is a casual EGOT winner? I'd have to go back and remember what all she won for. Like
Elton John feels like a casual EGOT winner.
Elton's got one.
Elton's got one.
I didn't know
because he was a part of the. I think. Well, what did he win an Oscar for?
The Lion King soundtrack. It has to be the Lion King soundtrack.
Can You Feel the Love
Yeah,
Tonight?
Lion King.
Best original song. He actually won 2 because then he won for the song from Rocket Man as well, which he wrote.
Okay.
Elton's won. Jennifer Hudson feels like she just won it because she's awesome.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like what were her awards?
Oh, but no, you want to know what her Tony is so weird. She was a producer. For all of that said, Jennifer Hudson's Tony is a producing credit for A Strange Loop.
Okay.
John Legend.
That doesn't feel casual. It felt like John was hunting it. Read off his awards because
He won an Oscar for Glory.
Okay.
Great song.
All right.
He won an Emmy for Jesus Christ Superstar live in concert.
So we're casual here so far.
And then all of his Grammys.
All right, casual.
And then he won a Tony for Best Revival of a Play, which I'm gonna guess he's a producer on.
Okay.
Certainly
not an actor.
Like he's not even on their Wikipedia page.
Okay.
So yeah, that one feels.
That feels hunted.
That feels
hunted. What was Whoopi's? Do you have him?
Yeah, Whoopi's was for Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Was her Oscar. Her Emmy.
The fact she won for Ghost and not for Color Purple.
Her Emmy feels a little.
What is it?
It's a daytime Emmy.
Oh, put some respect on
Outstanding
daytime
Special Class
Emmys.
Special, Beyond Terra, The Extraordinary Life of Hattie McDaniel, which is a great story.
Yeah.
And then she also won Outstanding Talk Show Host with The View in 2009.
Big respect on
her
the
Grammy is for her 1986 comedy album.
Okay.
Her Tony is for Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Listen, that sounds casual to me.
It also sounds wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, how are you liking the rehearsal?
I find it. Listen, man.
I know.
I get it.
It's okay. We're having some
get
different. She was a producer on Thoroughly Modern Millie. I hate the producing credits.
You don't think it should count towards your
No,
EGOT?
I don't. I think it should be performer only.
Oh, okay.
Or you should have 2 separate categories. Like there should be a special EGOT designation, like an asterisk, if you were actually visible in each of those projects. That pisses me off. And she should have one.
You're an EGOT.
Go chase a Tony. Get her back on Broadway. Get her back in Sister Act.
Let's go. Sister Act coming here? Why did I feel like Sister Act was coming
No.
here? I think I saw Sister Act at Playhouse. It was good.
It's a fun show.
It's fun.
Anyway, the rehearsal. I know.
I get it. It's not for me, but I get it. I'm gonna get to the point to where everybody was losing their mind about dude with the plane. So I'm gonna get to that point. We'll find out. But so far, it's just like, all right. I don't understand why you don't know how to read social cues and realize when somebody's trying to kiss you. What is going on here?
So some people, not everyone
listen,
is you.
Some people, I know that I've missed
And
social
you're
cues
weird.
on.
We're all weird.
On like, hey, this person wants some form of affection for. I understand that. I can follow that. It's not something that, you wake up one day like, she wanted me to do blah, 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 blah. I know next time. And then next time comes and you just do it. You're like, all right, she's giving me the same signals and signs. Everything's going well. Yeah, let's go. Let's go get it done.
Those were actors. Like, that's why that show's so good. I don't know what's real and what's not. I watched the entirety of that show and have no idea what is real and what's not.
You don't think the socially awkward co-pilot is an actor? You think he's an actor? You don't think he's real?
I think it's an actor.
Okay. What about the
Or
one?
at least the girl is an actor. The pilot might be
the
real,
girl,
but the girl is an
is
actor.
absolutely an actor.
So then their relationships aren't even real, but they could be real from his perspective, but not real from her perspective.
She hit him when he gave her the smooch.
Yeah.
She hit him with a really? Like, that's what? He's like, yeah, you want some wine? It's like, get out of here, you dweeb. Also, shout out to the old lady who's fawning over Einstein.
She was great.
Oh
MVP
my God.
of the
Just like,
season.
come on, man. You know you don't find this dude attractive. Anything for screen time.
The chat wants to know why you didn't talk about the BET Awards.
Because I didn't watch, chat. What do you mean? Why would I don't watch award shows. So, like, that's why. Why is it on me to talk about the BET award shows?
Yeah.
Jessica has proclaimed her love for award shows. Talk to Jessica
I saw
about
Dochi's
that.
speech. I watched Dochi's speech.
Okay.
It was
Was
good.
it any good?
Yeah.
What
I
she
also-
win for? Doesn't matter.
Best-
It doesn't really matter. Got to be new artist.
New artist.
Got to be. Okay. Anxiety, I'm assuming, is what she won for.
Well, she had her whole album.
Okay.
Let's see what she won. We'll leave. We'll leave on that
I do
note.
got a meeting.
I got a meeting.
We got meetings.
We got meetings. I
Let's
hope
go.
everyone has a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. The WNBA action tonight. The Fever play. Caitlin Clark's not back. She's on her way, but she is not playing tonight in the Fever's game against the Dream. Sky Liberty is on at 7 on ESPN if you want to watch an absolute bloodbath.
What's Dream Fever? Is Dream Fever
Dream
on?
Fever's ESPN 3.
Okay.
Dial up that stream. 6:30 Fever Dream, 7 o'clock Sky Liberty. We'll be back tomorrow. It will be Game 3 day of the NBA Finals. D'Angelo Williams will join us. We'll have a good Wednesday. We'll see you then. Bye.
She won best female rapper. Best,
Yes.
what is it? Best female hip hop artist.
Thank you.
All right.